Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Donna Maria from DonnaMaria.com, and welcome to the Lifestyle CEO Show. I'm so excited to be here with you today. So this is the place where we empower you to enjoy your life, build your business, and have your way. So listen, if you're like me and you want to start a business and run a business and manage a business that is really designed around the life that you want to have. And not only that, designed around your life as it evolves, as you grow, as your family grows and evolves, as you mature and all those things, then you've arrived at the right place to do that. Because, I have always felt that that is the most important thing about being able to support myself, right? We all have to make a living. We all have to make money somehow because we have to support ourselves. But how are we going to do that? That's the big question. And if you choose entrepreneurship as your method of doing that, you really need to put these things into place around your life so that your business can complement everything that you want your life to be. So listen, the Lifestyle CEO, a lifestyle, is all about building a business that not only generates a profit, but which also leads to what you want when it comes to family, freedom, flexibility, and fun. Those are our 4 F's, right? So in my business, if it doesn't lead to family, freedom, flexibility, and fun, I don't do it, even if it leads to money, because I want things in my business that lead to money to also lead to those things. Okay, so I don't put the money first. It's a priority, but it's not any more of a priority than the 4 F's, because those are the things that I really want to build my life around. I want to build my life around those things, not just the money. And money's important. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as lifestyle CEOs, because honestly, today, what we see so much of is, oh my goodness, I had a 7-figure year, or how you can have a 6-figure week, or, it's kind of like, that's nice, and I'm not knocking it, okay? Bring on the 6-figure weeks, right? But at the same time, when you think about what you want your life to look like, a 6-figure week does not always deliver that, okay? It doesn't always deliver that. And so what you want to make sure that you do for yourself is, if you need to have a 6-figure week to have the family, freedom, flexibility, and fun, then you need to do that. I didn't need to do that, right? I didn't need to have 6 figures a week so that I could enjoy my life. I respect people who do. I respect people who prioritize that. But it's not just me. And there's great freedom in being able to really, really define your life the way you want to, and not watch all the Facebook feeds and all the pretty Instagram pictures of all the traveling babes and how awesome they look. And they do look awesome, right? But that's them. That's them. And it's eye candy, and it's nice to enjoy. But when you internalize it in a way that makes you feel like your business doesn't count because you're not having 6-figure weeks, that's when you start going down the danger zone. That's when you start paying more attention to what other people might want for you or for them, and trying to rub that off on you. And that's when you lose sight of what's really, really important to you. So it's really important to be able to think about things in those terms. So I made a little list today, okay, of the 4 F's, because that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some other things this week too. We're going to talk about money, focus, and fear, okay? Money, focus, and fear, in that order on the Lifestyle CEO Show this week. But today we're talking about the 4 F's. So let's start with the first one, which is family, right? Look around your life right now and look at your family. Like, how is your family complementing your life? How is your family complementing your business? How is your business complementing your family, more importantly? Because you really want that to be the case, right? So how many children do you have? Do you have to take them to school? Does the bus pick them up? Does your significant other or spouse take care of that? Who fixes their food? Who is the person who's washing their clothes? Who's helping them learn how to live a good life themselves? Who's training them? Who's coaching them? Who's getting them to their sports activities and so forth, right? So one of the things that you want to make sure you do is build a business around that stuff. Okay? And so if you have very, very young children, so for example, At the Indie Business Network, I do a lot of work like this with my members. And one of the things I notice is that a lot of them, well, quite a few, have a lot of products in the line, and they're making them themselves, but they have very young children. They have very young children, and it's really, really hard to create a full product line and take care of everything that's involved in marketing and selling that line when you have young children and you don't have any help with them. So for your family, I want you to be thinking about this. Like, look at your family right now. Look at your business right now. Does your business complement your family? Is it fitting in? Is it causing unnecessary stress? Now, entrepreneurship is always going to cause stress, but the question is, what kind of stress is it? Is it the kind of stress that pushes you to make it better during your work hours so you can have more family time? What kind of stress is it? Okay, because there's different levels of stress, and you want to make sure as much as you can that your stress level is not impacting, because of your business, is not adversely impacting your family. So try and look at your business as objectively as you can and see what you can add or remove so that your business can more complement your family. Okay. The second thing is the freedom to be able to do things the way you want to do them in your life. Right? Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining. The freedom to be able to do things in your life. What kind of business model can you choose that's going to allow you that kind of freedom? Okay, and everyone defines that differently, right? It's even in like the Declaration of Independence. It's really important to our sanity and important to our sense of who we are to be able to have a sense of we can do what we want to do when we want to do it. We can enjoy our lives in the way that we feel is conducive to what our lifestyles are like, to what the people we love are like, and how we can enjoy just being able to have the freedom to choose what to do with our discretionary time. Like, look at your business right now and look at whether it's giving you that kind of freedom. Do you have time off? Do you not have time off? If you don't, then, maybe it's time to start thinking about that, because freedom to do the things that you enjoy is going to help make you a better business manager. It's going to help make you a better business leader. Okay, so I want you to really think about that. What things can you tweak to create the kind of freedom in your life, just a little bit more margin? It doesn't have to be, big, huge changes. It can be tiny little things that give you more freedom in your life. And if you're new to business and you haven't set your business up, then obviously this is something you want to think about as you do that. Right? Create a business around the kind of family that you have or want. Create a business around the kind of freedom that you want. Okay? And then flexibility. Okay? This is a big one, especially for us as moms, or if you're a parent, whether you're a mom or a dad. We have to be able to have the flexibility to turn around on a dime for our kids, right? Because our children have needs that are not predictable. Unfortunately, they do. Their needs are not predictable. So, and one of the things I see a lot of is people saying, I've got this business and it's great, and oh my goodness, my son got sick, so now I don't have a business for the whole rest of the week. And of course your son is your priority. Of course he is. But if you are in business, you've got to plan for that in advance. You've got to have the backup care. Now, obviously, if you have to rush him to the emergency room, all bets are off, right? But if he gets a cold, you want to be able to sit down and think about, okay, how can I get my work done today, the things that are on my calendar? How can I get them done and still get him to the pediatrician's office? Maybe I can get a late appointment. Maybe my spouse can come and take him to the pediatrician's office. Maybe I can take him tomorrow. Maybe he's, he doesn't have a fever. He does have a sniffle, but it's not a fever. You can take a temperature and, fevers mean something different oftentimes. It all depends on the circumstances. But you want to have the flexibility to be able to assess that situation yourself and then decide what to do based on your whole life, not just your son being sick, not just your business, right? Base it on what's going on in your life and what your plans are for that day. And so when you have that kind of flexibility, I know for me, my children aren't, young anymore. They're young teenagers. And they still, they still require me to, change things because neither of them is driving yet. So there's a whole lot of things I have to do. But when they were younger, I had help. And it didn't solve every single problem I had, but boy, did it take a load off. I had help. I also had a schedule. so that when I was doing things that were important for my business, I was doing them when I knew I was going to have the ability to get them done. And I created the type of business that allowed me to work whenever I wanted to work, from wherever I wanted to work. So when my children were infants, I was breastfeeding. I was writing a newsletter while I was doing that. Now, that was not my first choice, but if one of them woke up in the middle of the night and I was actually doing my newsletter, well, I would have to go. I had the flexibility. I could still get my newsletter out on time the next day or 2 days from then, or whatever the case was, but I also could take care of my children. So I created a business that allowed me to do that. I didn't have to stop taking care of them. I didn't have to stop my newsletter. Now, I'll be honest with you and tell you that there were times when, and I can remember one time in particular, I laugh about this sometimes. I don't remember what I was doing, but it was really, really, really hugely important, and I was only going to get one chance to do it. And of course, my daughter woke up from her nap that day, and there was no one to help me. So I closed the door. I secured her in her crib. I closed the door to her bedroom. I went in my office. I closed the door, and I got it done. She screamed the entire time. And I felt awful. But I had to turn that off. I knew she was safe. I knew she was going to be okay, right? Crying is not going to kill a child to cry for 15 or 20 minutes. She was not sick. You know, there was none of those things going on. I'm not an awful mom. But I was an awful mom maybe for 20 minutes for everyone's benefit, because this was something I had planned out for quite some time. It had to get done or it wasn't going to get done. And I knew that my daughter was okay. And then, of course, immediately afterward, I ran up and hugged her and loved her and took really good care of her. So that's what I mean by flexibility, right? In that moment, I had to decide. I had like a split second to decide what to do when my daughter woke up. And I weighed my options. And I said, you know what? I'm going to secure her in her crib. I'm going to close the door. I'm going to kiss her and tell her I love her. And Mommy will be right back. Okay, Mommy's coming back. She hollered the entire time. But everybody turned out okay. I was peaceful and happy with her for the rest of the day because I got something done that was super, super important to me. So that's what I mean by flexibility. That was on a day when my help, my help didn't work on Wednesdays at that time. And this was, I don't remember exactly what it was, but my point is that I was able, because of the way I structured my business around my life, I was able to stop, organize something, and then come back to what I needed to get done. And I want that for you. I want that for you, but it requires you to sit down, take a look at your life, what you want it to be like, what is freedom for you, what is flexibility for you, what are those things for you, and then build a business around that. And you can do that. You can do that. You don't have to, make 7 figures a year to have a happy life. You don't have to work that hard or manage enough people to make that kind of money. There's nothing wrong with making that kind of money, not at all. I think it's great, and if you get there, awesome. But you don't have to start there, okay? You don't have to start, with the idea that, oh my gosh, this is going to be a 7-figure business. Maybe it will be, but you don't have to start with that. Just start where you are, start with what you have, and begin building with the building blocks that you have in place around your life, the way it is right now, looking forward to the way you want it to be in the future. And that's another thing that's super important when it comes to flexibility. Like, the way I run my life right now is very different from the way I ran it when I had very young children. Okay, but I built a business that could sustain itself throughout all of those evolutions. Okay, so your life is going to change from the way it is right now. Like, whatever plans, whatever ideas you have in place right now, they're not going to be the same 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now, right? So what you want to do is you want to plan a business that can sustain itself through these evolutions in your life, so you don't have to always go back and forth and I'm going to do this now, and no, that's not working, so I'm going to do this, and this isn't working for my life now, so I'm going to do that. That adds so much stress to your life, and it adds so much, it makes everything take longer when you're switching around that way. You'll never get to a sustainable level of profitability and success on your terms if you keep changing things. Okay, so you've got to be really intentional about this. Of course, there's times when things need to change, and maybe, the business is really, really tanking and you need to make a change. But 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. Usually, people don't stick it out, or they just don't do a good job of planning the business model, and then when it doesn't work, they switch to something else. So they take the same business model planning problem they had before and move it over here to a new business model. That's not solving the problem. It's just taking it from here and moving it over there, and then the same problem happens again. Okay, so I want you to be intentional about this and create a business that can evolve, that you can think about how it can evolve with your life as your family changes, as you evolve personally, and as your family life evolves as well. And last but not least, you guys, fun. It should all be fun, right? Your life should be as much fun as you can make it. Some things aren't fun, right? But you just got to get through those, right? You just got to get through the times that aren't fun. But if you are intentional about creating what fun is for you, if you're self-aware enough to know what it is for you, then you can create it for you. And you can insert it into every single day, whether it's a work day or not. If you love video games, if you love fitness, running, and exercise, if you love to cook, if you love to read, if you love to knit, if you love to travel, there are ways that you can, again, when you plan your business model, there are ways that you are able to insert those things into your business. So for example, I love to travel. But when you have very, very young children, traveling can be a challenge, right? I'm not a traveler with young children. I did it a couple of times, obviously, because I had to when they were young. It's the worst experience for me, okay? Some parents love it. Some parents are better at getting through it than me. It was just awful for me. It was never a vacation when the travel time itself took a long time. Flying was never a vacation with my children. I could not get over the flying and the stress of that to even have a good time when we got where we were going. So guess what? We didn't do it, right? We would drive wherever we wanted to go and so forth. And we would take little mini vacations and not have to have all that travel time because it was so stressful for us. But as my children got a little bit older, I started to have an event inside my business that allowed me to travel and also serve my customers and clients where I could bring my children along with me if I needed to. Now, I did not always like to do that. Didn't want to bring them. I had to bring them 1 year. Most of the time I was able to find care for them so I could be gone and I could travel and I could also have something that was feeding my business and feeding the customers and clients that I serve in my business. So the fun for me when my children were young was combining those two things together, my love for travel with my business, to create something that was so much fun. It was so much fun, but which was also serving my business. So basically, it was the idea of killing two birds with one stone. Okay? And you can do that too. You can create things in your life that also serve your business. You can create things in your business that also serve your life. So things come together and they're integrated in a way that makes sense around that business model and, more importantly, in a way that makes sense around your life. Okay? So as you're thinking about planning your new business, if you're new to business, or as you're thinking about tweaking the one that you have and course correcting some of the things that may have gone a little bit sideways because maybe the business has taken you in directions you never thought it would. Maybe your life has changed and your business doesn't fit that anymore because you didn't plan a business that could evolve as your life and your family evolved. Then now's the time to pause and take a moment and do that. So those are the 4 F's: the freedom, the family, the flexibility, and the fun. Those are the things that if you can build a business around that, and you can work with me and I can show you how to do it. I can help you put some of those pieces in place. But if those things are important to you, I want you to comment below, share with a friend. Thanks for watching. If you're live, great to see you. If you're on the replay, which I know most of you are, thank you so much for watching, and post your questions below about family, freedom, flexibility, and fun. What are you missing? What's missing? Or what is working really, really super well? Do you have tips that you can share with everyone else so others can learn from what you're doing as well? I'd love to hear from you. Check out donnamaria.com. Click on the Work With Me link if you'd like to work together to get some of this done. You and me, mano a mano, we can go together and get things done for you and tweak what you have or help you start something that you're not going to regret in another 5 or 6 years because it's either tanking, not making money, or making you miserable, even if it is making money. That's not what we want, right? And I can help you avoid that. So I will see you tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific, right here at Donna Maria CEO on Facebook for another edition of the Lifestyle CEO Show. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.